Hi, Adrika. How are you?
Hey Robin, I'm doing all right. How about you?
Doing very good. I'm so excited that you could be here tonight. We have just a couple questions for you around self advocacy, but first, I'd like to give a quick introduction. So, Adrika, just to confirm, you are a career coach and you help women and all people, right? Everyone, not just women. I know we're a women's group, but you help people navigate work environments, stand up for themselves, negotiate their value, and all that good stuff. Could you just tell us a little bit more about your history and about who you are?
Yeah, of course. Hi everyone. My name is Adrika and I use she, her pronouns. I am, like Robin said, a career coach, but I'm also somebody who works in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space as a talent management professional. So, in summary, I do a lot of training, facilitation, consulting work, and right now I'm an independent consultant for a big tech company. So, really excited about that work. But what brought me to this work is that I'm a person who loves connecting with other human beings. I also want to acknowledge the fact that sometimes when we hold marginalized identities, we may have different experiences than others, and we need work environments that are going to support us the way that we need to be supported. And so that is why I went into career coaching. It's something that I'm passionate about and love doing. It's not something that I am monetizing at the moment. It's just something that purely gives me a purpose to help, especially focus on those that are marginalized as they're navigating their career journeys.
I love that. So, just diving in just a tiny bit deeper here, obviously our topic is self advocacy in the workplace. So, can you give us like a synopsis of what self advocacy actually is and what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. So, self advocacy to me personally is a process of learning your value and then putting that empowerment into practice by voicing your needs, your goals, and your boundaries. When I say your value, that can be made up of things like your life experiences, your personal experiences that are just as important as your professional ones, your education, your achievements, your failures as well, and your goals for the future.
I love that. Yeah. And why is it important? Which you pretty much just answered. It's important, obviously, when it comes to achieving our goals, when it comes to standing up for ourselves and staying in alignment with our worth. So, just to go a little farther into that as well, I've noticed personally in some of my experiences, if I've been in a job for a while, let's say I've been there for 5 years and I came in at a certain salary, doing a certain role, and I've built on my education and I have added in certifications and I have developed both professionally and personally, which I do find happens a lot in the workplace.
Mhm.
I find that I do get to a point where I want more.
Yeah.
I want more and I want to bring that towards me. So the longer I'm in the current position, I feel a little bit of a misalignment, right? I
Mhm.
feel like, I want more. I know that I'm worth more now. I contributed so much and I have so much more to give. Um, when it comes to closing that gap from where we are and where we want to be and using advocacy as a vehicle,
Mhm.
do you have any strategies or just practices that you've experienced that have helped you get there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, I want to start by saying that it's completely valid that you would want more. Any of us would want more. That's something that I hope that we empower ourselves with the validity to feel and to also work towards. We do deserve more money, a higher title, and anything else related to having a really good experience in the workplace and also in our personal lives. We can apply self advocacy to our personal lives just as well. Some of my tips for how you can self advocate and some examples from my work experiences are starts in self confidence, which Robin, you and I have talked about a lot over the last few weeks. And I did a session for Charlotte girls who walk on self confidence, and that goes hand in hand with self advocacy. And so, some quick tips I can give you, and you can come to the session to learn more. You can ask for more. So, Robin mentioned one thing that she's done is look at certifications, expand on her skill set. So you can ask for a training or a professional development opportunity, like, say, getting a conference ticket paid for as part of your ask for your self advocacy. So going to whoever the decision maker is in your organization and saying, hey, I want to learn this particular skill set. and this is how it's going to impact my job. So it'll actually be very good for our team, our department, the company. Can you please support me in my professional development? Do we have a training development stipend? Do we have a fund or something out of our budget that can be applied to going to a conference, especially if it's one of those conferences that's very expensive? And most likely, if you come at it from that angle, you'll probably get a yes, and that will help you work your way up to maybe negotiating that next title change or that next raise so that you can be in the place that you want to be.
Love that. I had a personal experience at my corporate job where I had the opportunity to ask my manager for ways to grow and develop. Like every year we do a developmental plan, and I wasn't used to this. I was like an entrepreneur before that. So getting into corporate was a huge transition.
Mhm.
And I just remember her saying, "So what are your goals for this year?" And having somebody that kind of holds you accountable to that helps as well. But then
Mhm.
discovering that they would pay for my education, for example. I finished my degree through them, but she wouldn't have known that I wanted to pursue that until I actually spoke up and brought that to her. So something else I wanted to just run by you and see what your thoughts are. A lot of people think managers are there, we work for them. That's what a lot of people think, is that employees work for managers. But do you agree that it's the other way around, that managers actually work for us? So our ability to go to our manager and ask for what it is that we need can also play a positive role?
Yeah, I think it's a reciprocal relationship. I don't know that I would necessarily categorize it as we work for them or they work for us, but in tandem, especially if you're in the kind of environment where there's a mentorship or a sponsorship program, or the manager is encouraged to support you as a direct report. That is something that is really important for your experience in the workplace. And I'm glad that you had a manager who not only saw that you were hungry for this thing, but also supported you in it.
Starting. We need more.
Yes, and access to opportunities like education. This is why I really like to focus on people with marginalized identities. School is not cheap. Certifications are not cheap, right? And so the average person may not have thousands of dollars saved up to be able to go and get this critical thing that is really important to their career advancement, or maybe something that they're genuinely passionate about and want to get good at. So hopefully that is the experience that people are having, rather than, being in an environment that isn't supportive to your growth.
I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I hate my job. I want to get out of corporate as fast as possible." And then they get out there as an entrepreneur and they're like,
Now I have to
"I
be
want my
entrepreneur,
corporate job."
accountant, lawyer, like all of the things. Yeah.
It's so funny. And I know that there's a lot of stress on us today with the recession, and everything that we just found out about, and obviously COVID that came in here and changed the game for us all. So, I mean, even us here in this space, never thought that we would be in a virtual event space, you know, as an extension of our walking group. But I couldn't help but want to provide this platform to women who just have expertise and experiences like yourself, and can come in here and share this with others who I know are transitioning. I can't tell you how many people have left our job and they're out here either doing their thing, or they went to Wells Fargo, they went somewhere to the banks. I don't know where they went, but they left. And I just know that a lot of people are contemplating this in their life. So,
It's
yeah,
a really critical moment. I mean, this is one thing that I love, just seeing it from the talent side and also the DEI side. You should go after what you want and have those opportunities. And even though we've had a great reevaluation and a great resignation, and a lot has changed in the last 3 years, there are some positives. And I would say the way the world of work has changed is one of them. People feeling like, yes, I can apply for this job. I do want to set the expectation and the boundary that I'm not willing to go into the office. I want it to be remote. Or on the other hand, I need that hybrid environment. I need the collaboration in person. And then I do want to take maybe 2, 3 days where I'm working from my home office and I have caretaking and other responsibilities. So I'm really proud of those who have the courage to change, to look into it. I know it is not easy to build that self confidence. And I'm also really grateful that there's a platform here in Charlotte through you and through Charlotte Girls Who Walk, that we can be in community while we're trying to empower ourselves and each other.
for sure. I just wanted to ask you this as well. When it comes to channels of communication,
Mhm.
we have email, we have phone, we have virtual calls and stuff like that. When you're asking for what it is that you need, do you have a preferred way of doing that? Do you wait for a call? Do you reach out and ask for a call? Like, how do you initiate the conversation to advocating for that thing that you
Yeah. For me personally, I think having that face-to-face conversation is important. It can be in a virtual environment like this. Like you, I also work remotely. So my connection to people, my communication is through video call or through any kind of workplace platform where you're chatting. For me personally, because I've had a lot of practice in advocating for my needs, both in person and over email, to have sort of a trail of what I've asked for, my preference is to have that face to face communication. But I know that for everyone, that might seem intimidating. So if you have a preference for sending an email or following up on, say, Slack, for example, and saying, hey, I saw that this virtual conference is listed, there's only 5 spots. I would love to be considered to take the spot because it would help me with my own professional development. You can absolutely do that and do what works for you. If you're a person who you're like me and Robin and you love to connect with people face to face or on video, do that. Have a genuine conversation. You can start by saying, I really appreciate all the support you've given me through my time here, as it's performance review time. Say it's like your annual performance review meeting or whatever. I'd like to go over what I've accomplished this year and how I've helped our team. And then you can say, I would like to ask for XYZ and go from there.
love that? Yeah. There's like a little sandwich, especially when it comes to emails. You always want to be nice. What you put the bottom line in the middle. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I always call it the communication or message sandwich here, where it's always about hope all is well. A lot of people actually. I'm saying this because I find that some people do have a hard time even sending an email and
Mm,
just initiating that contact, or even asking for a virtual call, or asking for something to get them in front of the right person and doing
mhm.
what they need to do. So I was just referencing that type of template because myself, like in the past, I used to just be such a bulleted individual where I would just like tell you what
Mhm.
it is or just ask. And what I learned is that by creating that cushion, for relationship building
Mhm.
and letting people know that what you're here for and everything, and then by asking. And so what do you do? Don't mind me here, but I have a couple more that I want to just pick your
Yeah.
brain on. So when you're in the situation where you finally worked up the courage to ask for what it is that you want, but you
Mhm.
find out that you're in a situation that's not able to give you that,
Mhm.
what is your recommendation as far as like timeline, next steps? Like, what do you do in that circumstance?
Yeah, so definitely take some time and reflect on it. Is this something, so for example, maybe it's that you want, this is a very common thing I've seen and also experienced. Maybe it's that you feel like you should be earning significantly more. Maybe you found out that a team member is earning significantly more than you are for something that is very similar in terms of your day-to-day job duties and your skill sets, your education, anything else that's related to the job that you're doing. And the person that you're asking, the decision maker, is like, we don't have the budget, or gives you some reason that doesn't feel good or sit well with you as to why it can't be done. Reflect on it and ask yourself, am I able to stay in this position based on what is going on? Or is it time for me to look into the next opportunity? And if the case is that it's the time for you to look into the next opportunity, then you can start setting those goals for yourself. What kind of opportunity are you looking for? Is there something that you may have to add to your skill set or to your resume to be able to be qualified for that position? And if not, then you can go ahead, reach out for informational interviews with the department, the company, whomever it is that you are interested in speaking with. Lastly, I would say that if it is not possible for you to leave at this time, that's completely fine. You can do things slowly and carefully at your own pace. it's all good. I kept going.
Wow, you're amazing.
You can edit this part out. Yeah, you can keep going at your own pace and what your comfort level is. So maybe right now is not the best time for you to transition out of that role or to look for a new job. Maybe you have a lot of caretaking responsibilities, or maybe you're just not ready yet, and that's okay. And so what you can do is give yourself, maybe it's 3 months or 6 months, to start looking at other roles, or to start looking for, maybe even within your organization, is there something else that you might be excited to do? So for example, do you want to go from digital marketing to product management? Do you have a skill set that you want to build? And is there a training program that your company offers internally where you could be considered for it? And then you get that on the job training, which then gets you to that next level. The last tip I would give you here is that there are states that have to disclose salary transparency, just going back to our example. So Colorado, New York, I think California is supposed to be the next one, if I'm not mistaken. And so if you're kind of looking for the research around supporting your needs, it is there. And you can ask for that raise or look for the salary range transparently that is legally supposed to be posted on that job description. And so hopefully those are some helpful, tangible tips for you. If you're not offered the opportunity that you're seeking, that you give yourself permission to go elsewhere.
I love that, giving yourself permission. A lot of us hold ourselves back, not realizing it's really just, you're allowed to succeed. You're allowed to have whatever it is that you want, as long as you're going after it, right? I love that. Well, I think that will conclude for us. I really appreciate you joining us this evening. And if anybody wants to reach out to you, do you have contact information or anything?
Absolutely.
How can we find you?
So you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and then through email as well is the best way. Do you want me to send it to you in the chat, or do you want me to just say it out loud?
Say it out loud. Yeah.
Perfect. So on LinkedIn, my profile is Adrika Lazarus. So that's Adrika, last name Lazarus, Lazarus. My personal Instagram account is at the Lazarus Legacy. My Charlotte specific account is called Culturally Vibrant Charlotte. And then just for fun, if you like dogs, you're welcome to follow my puppy. Her IG is at Cora.LikeTheLegendOf.
I love that. And yeah, if you want to drop them in the chat, I'll be sure to upload them with your video and all of that as well.
Amazing. And yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. Stop recording. Yay.
Yes. And, I didn't know if it was my internet, so I was like, oh gosh, I hope it's recording.
Oh my gosh, I know.